Hi folks, my name's Jeff Rugrock, all things on Sanitary, and this is your fifth in a series of PowerPoint presentations on sanitary units. For this one, we're going to be talking about urinals, plus we are going to do a wrap-up exercise with a fixture sizing table, where you can put all the sanitary units under one sizing table. Anyhow, sanitary unit means a water closet, urinal, bidet, or bedpan washer. It is in fact a plumbing fixture as defined by Division A, Part 1412, defined terms. We have already covered some terminology in presentation number 1. We have covered the water closets in presentation number 2, bedpan washers in presentation number 3, bidets in presentation number 4, and now we have the urinals. We're going to be talking about two specific kinds, the siphon jet and washout, heavy duty, light duty, and urinal flush valve, which is heavy duty, and metered oscillating valve, which is the light duty valving. So this is the fixture and this is the valves. Anyways, I don't probably have to say a whole lot about urinals. They're just usually wall mounted, and a fella stands up against it, and there you go, aim for the fly. So light duty urinals, often called a wash down, wash out urinal. So in this case, Kohler calls it a wash down, but the building code calls it a washout. Again, just a wall hung toilet or wall hung urinal, has a fixture outlet pipe and a P-trap. And again, when you see a P-trap, it's usually fairly light duty fixture. So it has a fairly small metered oscillating valve, or what the building code refers to as a self-closing metering valve. So the common term would be metered between the industry and the code, but this is it here. You press on this lever, it's spring loaded, and the spring will return it to closed position eventually. You can adjust the tension on the spring to make the flush longer or shorter. And this mounts right on the top of the urinal, the valve. We also have what I call heavy duty urinals. The one I'm looking at today is the wall hung siphon jet urinal. It is trap standard, which means that you have a trap built right into the urinal. It doesn't come all the way down, like an S trap might come right out. This one doesn't do that. What it does do is it turns and goes back into the wall. So it's called a 3/4 S trap, but it is trap standard, in my view. Controversial view, by the way. For me, the reason I call it trap standard is because it has these bolt holes right here, and that counts for me as support for the fixture, which is part of the definition of a trap standard. Anyways, this is a heavy duty urinal. When you see the siphon jet, it even sounds heavier duty, right? Siphon jet. Anyway, so it has a direct flush valve on it, which is much larger in size. In fact, this is essentially the same valve you put on a toilet. Has a little bit smaller supply pipe, down one size, and then it reduces in size at the top of the urinal. The direct flush valves are direct flush valves. They're essentially the same. Oftentimes this piece would be interchangeable. You just have to have the right supply valve. This is an angle stop, and the right tube. Anyway, so that's the heavy duty one. Well, I kind of did this one already, but there's what I call the trap standard. And it's a 3/4 S because it turns into the wall. And there's the supports right there. There's actually a flange it mounts to in the wall, with the bolts going through there, and then this is the waste pipe here. Anyways, and there's your definition again if you've forgotten for some reason. And the controversial part is support. The trap is definitely integral with the fixture. That's for sure. It's the support that's questionable. Anyways, for me it's a trap standard, heavy duty stuff. I talked about similarities between the two. These happen to be, this happens to be a solar powered electric eye, and this is battery powered electronic, and they just flush as you step away from them. The differences between these two really are the head, right? The control, this is solar and this has a battery in it, so you need a bit more room for the batteries in this one. But as you can tell, the valve itself here and here, where the handle would normally be, has been removed, but they're identical. This tube is the big difference right here. This would be for a water closet, full-size tubing, and this would be for the urinal, small-size tubing. Other than that, they're pretty much the same. So here we're going to take the time to size all of this. I would suggest that, well, I just don't know. I'll do the bidet. So I'll do the bidet for you to give you an idea. So to start with, you turn to 7493 and you find bidet. I believe it's item number 7. And you will find you have a fixture outlet pipe of 1 1/4 inches. And you will have a fixture unit rating of 1 fixture unit, which in the days of old was 1 cubic foot per minute. Nowadays there's way more to it. Next up, you'll turn to 7571 for venting, and you will see that an 1 1/4 trap or fixture outlet pipe size requires an 1 1/4 vent, which is pretty much the smallest size you get anyways. Smallest one on that table for sure. Then when you take a look at the 7632, and I should probably have this open as I'm looking, make sure I don't make any mistakes, 7632A, you will find that it's also number 7, item number 7, and that it has a 3/8 supply pipe size. And again, we normally run 1/2 inch, but those PEX fittings are 3/8. So we're going to write the 3/8 down. You will find that the cold FUs are 1.5 and the hot FUs are 1.5. And then the total, you don't just add the 2 up to get 3, because when you turn on the hot water and then the cold, you don't get double the amount of water. So the total load is just 2 FUs. Anyway, so that gives you a sense of how to do this. So go ahead and find those 3 bedpan washers. Find 2 different WCs in the 2 urinals that we've been going over throughout the sanitary units assignment. And don't flick, pause the video here, don't go to the last slide until you've completed it. Because that has all the answers on it. So pause the video now, try this exercise on your own, and then restart the video for the final slide, which is the answer key to this. So hopefully you took the time to work this out, but here is the answer key for everything you've just done. So I started with the bedpan washer, and I used what I refer to as the machine. It's better, the machine, which was the big bedpan washer. So number 5 for drainage tables, number 6 for the distribution tables. And it's huge, right? That machine, ginormous. The largest of all. And they really don't know. I mean, it's pretty generic. The manufacturers could build constantly new machines that are bigger, and the code would never catch up for the longest time. Then the next bedpan washer I used was the one that just has a faucet on it. So it has the same drain, exactly the same drainage, the same venting, but when you go to the faucet, all the numbers change. And this is definitely the lightest duty of the three with just the faucet. The final bedpan washer, still number 5. The exact same stuff for the drainage and venting, DWV. But when you go to the direct flush valve, now you've got kind of a medium duty. It's important to note the flush valve is cold water only, so NA, just for the hot water, is not applicable. And you'll find that the same for water closets. Same for the urinals. They just don't have hot water supply. Anyways, go ahead and check that out. But this is all testable, so do be familiar with it. That's it. My name's Jeff Rugrock, all things unsanitary. See you for the next one.